Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. Today we begin the week with the parasha of Terumah, and Terumah means donations. And in this parasha, Hashem is instructing the Jewish people to give donations to the building of the tabernacle in the desert. The tabernacle, or the Mishkan as we know it, was a giant structure. Imagine a huge Lego that was assembled and disassembled through the 40 years of the desert. The Jewish people were able to put it together and take it apart and travel with it in the desert. And here, Hashem asked different types of donations, 3 types of offerings actually. And one of them, which is the one that is the most striking to me, is the offering in which Hashem asked the Jewish people to give half a shekel for the sockets of the Mishkan. So this Mishkan, this structure, we have to understand, had different components. It has an outer courtyard, it had a building. Inside of the building was a Holy of Holies, the Kodesh HaKodashim, where the luchot, where the tablets were put. It had a place where the sacrifices were done. It had a candelabra. It had many components, and it was actually built out of gold, silver, copper. It had blue, purple, crimson wool, linen, and goat hair. It had also ram skins and tahaj skins, and it had acacia wood, had oil and spices. So we can see that this tabernacle was done. It had a lot of things going on. It had a lot of components. So Hashem asked the Jewish people to give as their heart is open to give, each one according to what they can give. And also he asked for the Jewish people to give half a shekel for the sockets of the tabernacle. So everybody, no matter if they were rich or poor or stingy or giving, didn't matter how they were, everybody had to give half a shekel for the sockets of the tabernacle. And we have to understand that the sockets were the foundation of this Mishkan. And we're going to understand now, we're going to go into Hasidut to try to understand how the tabernacle, how the Mishkan, the composition of the Mishkan is compared to us, to our own personal makeup. Because also God says, and they shall make the sanctuary, they shall make a sanctuary and I will dwell in them. So the wording is very strange. It doesn't say, make me a sanctuary so I can dwell in it. Hashem is saying, make me a sanctuary so I can dwell in them. So what he's saying is that each one of us is a personal sanctuary. We are a Mishkan with legs and arms and brains and body. We ourselves are holy. And Hashem doesn't only want us to have synagogues and places of worship where we make it beautiful and have all these beautiful things in them. He also wants us to be beautiful ourselves, because really His presence really resides in us. So let's go into what the Alter Rebbe has to say about this. In the Tanya, he explains that the Jewish person, or the human, is composed of different parts. So we're composed of intellect, we're composed of emotions. We have 10 sefirot. The intellectual ones are Chokhmah, Bina, and Dat, which is wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And then we have an emotional part of us, which is 7 different sefirot, which are Hesed, which is kindness. We have Gebura, which is judgment, strictness. We have Tiferet, which is beauty and harmony. We have Netzach, which is endurance. We have Hod, which is humility. Yesod, which is foundation. And Malchut, which is dignity and kingship. So this is part of what we are made of. We also have the 3 garments of the soul, which are our thought, our speech, and our action. And on top of that, we have 2 souls. We have a godly soul and an animal soul. We have a body. We have personalities. We also, depends where we were brought up, where we were born, what type of customs we have, what type of baggage we bring. So we're very complex beings. But here, what we're learning is that we are not this. We are not all these parts. This is not what defines a Jew. This is not what defines you or me. This is not what makes you who you are. And it's very interesting. These things that you would think a person is this or is that, in reality, if we go to the core, if we go to his essence, he's not that. The essence is something that is the foundation of each one of us. Is something that is not changeable, something that doesn't change or evolve, or it gets ruined, or gets dirty, or is suffering. It's a part of us that really, Mamesh, is a piece of God inside of us, and it's an emanation of Hashem. And at that level, we're all the same. We're exactly the same, and that's why we had to give half a shekel for the sockets of the temple, because at the level of the foundation, we're all the same. Nothing is changeable. So, by understanding this concept, we can understand the concept of loving your fellow as yourself, because when you are taught and you are obliged, it's a commandment of the Torah to love your fellow as yourself. This is what it is. It's that at the core level, we're all the same, we're all one. You are me and I am you. We all come from the same light. Up there, there's no difference between ourselves. So when we're able to see people for who they really are and not what we think they are, then we can come really to appreciate and love everybody, because at their core, they're perfect. And nothing diminishes our inherent value. Nothing that we do will make us less. At the eyes, at a certain level, yes, we cannot be stealing, we cannot be doing not good things to others, we cannot make other people suffer. But at the core level, we're all the same. So why is this important to understand? This is a very important concept, because when people are going in a wrong direction in life, when they're living a life that is not righteous, that is not the right life for them, that they're not fulfilling the purpose for which they were created, sometimes people can get very discouraged and they can say, okay, there's no reason for me to be alive anymore. I messed it up so bad. How can I ever get it right? I'm never going to be able to get it right. So this parasha teaches us that there's nothing so far-fetched away as this idea. Because at the core, if you are full of kedusha, you're holy, 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 and this is what the Holy of Holy means. It's a holy part of ourselves that is never touched, that is perfect and pure. If you're able to connect to that part of you, that is the foundation of who you can become, then you will start building up from that core up, and you'll be able to build a beautiful Mishkan. So there is a story of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzhak Schneerson. When he came to America in 1940 after the war, the people were discouraged. The Jewish people were very assimilated. He came to a place where there was no Yiddishkeit, there was no schools, there was nothing. And he started building it up. And one of the things he used to do was he used to send emissaries, he used to send shlias to visit different Jews around the country. And one day he sent Rabbi Shmuel Levitan to Chicago to visit a certain man called Charles Lisner, Mr. Lisner. And he went to the office to visit Mr. Lisner, no appointment, no nothing. And he came in, and there was this secretary, secular Jew, and she looked at him like this was a Jew from a different place in time, like where did this guy come from? And he sat them down and he said, look, Mr. Lisner is very busy right now. I don't know if he can take care of you. You have to sit and wait. So the rabbi, he said, okay, I'll wait. And he sat down for hours and hours, and he waited for Mr. Lisner to come out. And when he was ready to go home, Mr. Lisner came out of his office and he saw the rabbi. He says, oh, when did you arrive? He says, no, this morning. So please come into my office. And he took out his checkbook and was ready to write down a check. And he said, how much do you want? What donation do you need? And he says, no, you don't get it. I didn't come for money. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzhak Schneerson, sent me to meet you. And the guy was like, wow, like a rabbi in Brooklyn knows that I exist. How does he know I exist? I'm this Jew. I'm not a religious Jew. What really is he interested about me? So the Rabbi Lavitan was sitting there, and he looked at him and says, really, I don't know. He just sent me to meet you. He didn't tell me what to say to you or what to do with you. He just sent me here, and I'm here. And then he had this aha moment, and he realized that he has to say something nice to this guy. And it came to his head. He said, you know what a Torah scroll is? And he said, yes, I know what a Torah scroll is. He says, you know, in the Torah scroll, there's thousands of letters. And if one of those letters is scratched or is erased or is broken, each one of them represents a Jew. And it's like if that Jew is missing from the Torah scroll, and it makes the whole Torah scroll not good. It makes it not kosher, pasul. And so the story is, if one Jew is missing, then we're not complete. And the Mr. listener was very touched by it. Like they said, what the Rebbe wants you to know is that every Jew matters. Everybody is important. And he left, and they became very good friends, and they kept in touch. So Rabbi Levitan went back to Brooklyn and met with the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Yosef Yitzhak Schneerson, and came back with a report of what he had told Mr. Lisner. And he said to him everything he had said, and the Rebbe said, it's very nice what you were saying, but I want to add something more. The ink that writes the parchment of the Torah is a separate entity than the parchment. There are two different entities. And the ink, the form you give the ink, is depending on what you write or what you draw with it. That's what gives it the form. And the ink also, eventually with time, will fade out and it will disappear. I want to give you one more little taste about the soul of a Jew. He says that the soul of a Jew is more like a carved stone, like the luchot. When you carve something in stone, it's eternal. It will never disappear. Maybe with time it will get dirty, and some dust will get over it and will cover the essence of that Jew. But the only thing you have to do to bring out the essence of a Jew is really to clean it out and take that dust out, and the essence will come back. So what the Rebbe was telling Rabbi Levitan is that the Jew, as its core, his essence, is something that it's unchangeable. It's always there. It just gets dirty with life, with the way we live, with the way we think, with what we eat, with how that we dress, with how we treat people, how we deal in our businesses. And it starts getting dusty and dusty and dusty. But when a person starts cleaning up all this mess, the core, the essence, is always going to be underneath. It's always going to be there. So there's something in Hasidut called Kabbalat Ol, and this is called the essence, the foundation. And when we put ourselves and our interests aside and connect to Hashem's will, this is what Kabbalat Ol is. And this is what the sockets represent. With our personal makeup, we make it unique. All these things that we think we are, like our personalities, our emotions, our intellect, our thoughts, our speech, our action, our behavior, all these things that we think this is who I am, in reality, this is not who we are. These are just tools that Hashem have given us so we can perform in this world and do what we have to do in a unique way. Each one of us putting our grain of salt or of sugar in this world in our own unique way. So the Kabbalahs are the sockets, for they lie at the bottom and hold everything up. If the foundation is not a good foundation, eventually the building is going to collapse. So what we learn from this parasha in Hasidut is that our foundation is perfect. It's beautiful. It's never going to collapse. It's strong and sturdy, and it's eternal, and it's never going to end. So this is something you have to know. You have to know that in your deepest part of you, what holds you up is always going to be strong and there for you. You just have to clean it up and find it, and find that part of you that is holding you up. And the beams and the tapestries of the Mishkan represent really the Sefirot, our intellect, our emotions, our garments of the soul, our thoughts, our speech, our action, and our unique expression. And without the foundation, they wouldn't be able to stand on their own. So what really is holding us up is that pinkeleyit, that part of you that is eternal. And when we recognize that we are that's what we are, we're a part of Hashem and nothing more, then our whole perspective and purpose in life changes. Because if we are a part of God, then there's work to do, my friends. There's a lot to do, and we have to get going, and we have to get studying, and we have to learn, and we have to grow, and we have to become responsible and accountable for who we are. Because Hashem invests a lot in us. He puts everything in us. He sends us into this world so we can perform and we can do His will. So I want to wish you a beautiful week, a healthy week, a happy week, and you should always, every day, live a little higher and build that beautiful Mishkan inside of you, that holy, holy temple that you carry around every day, everywhere you go. Bye. Thank you.